intelligence from your reporting that we could get another North Korean missile launch sometime soon?
U.S. ambassador to the UN says she has heard reports of a possible North Korean missile test happening soon. A couple of U.S. media outlets have reported that Pyongyang is preparing to launch another long-range missile, and the test could be carried out as early as in the coming days.
Yeah, two military officials here at the Pentagon are telling me that there's possibly likely, where you want to draw the line between that two, that's an open question, a missile test this week. One said as soon as midweek, the other one said in the very short term. The type of movement that they are seeing this time is consistent with previous launches, or the time leading up to previous launches, previous tests. Remember the end of November, they did that high loft intercontinental ballistic missile, went way up in the air and came back down. That is the furthest they've launched one. And we have a very, part bellicose speech from Kim Jong-un, part diplomatic, saying he's willing to talk, but he also has a button on his desk that could trigger a nuclear strike against the U.S.
미국 번터 전역이 우리의 핵 타격 사정권 안에 있으며 핵 단추가 내 사무실 책상 위에 항상 놓여 있다는 것. 이는 결코 위협이 아닌 현실임을 똑바로 알아야 합니다.
President Donald Trump is firing back at North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. He tweeted Tuesday night, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un just stated that the nuclear button is on his desk at all times. Will someone from his depleted and food-starved regime please inform him that I too have a nuclear button, but it is a much bigger and more powerful one than his, and my button works.
Let me ask you, right after the oath of office, they gave you the nuclear codes, the biscuit. Sobering moment?
Yes, it's very, very scary.
This comes as North Korea floated the possibility of talks with the South. David Martin is at the Pentagon with more.
At first, President Trump wasn't sure what to think of Kim Jong-un's New Year's offer of talks with South Korea. Rocket Man now wants to talk to South Korea for first time, he tweeted. Perhaps that is good news, perhaps not. We will see. But no sooner had South Korea's President Moon taken Kim up on the offer than UN Ambassador Nikki Haley dismissed it as meaningless so long as the North continues to build nuclear weapons.
We won't take any of the talk seriously if they don't do something to ban all nuclear weapons in North Korea. We consider this to be a very reckless regime. We don't think we need a Band-Aid, and we don't think we need to smile and take a picture.
In his New Year's speech, Kim boasted that the nuclear button is on his desk and vowed to begin mass production of nuclear warheads and ballistic missiles. Those were just words, but U.S. intelligence has detected what appear to be preparations for another test of an intercontinental ballistic missile.
I hope that does not happen. But if it does, we must bring even more measures to bear on the North Korean regime.
Indications are the North Koreans are preparing to test their longest-range missile, which they celebrated in the form of a gigantic ice sculpture over New Year's. When it was first tested last November, the real missile flew long enough to reach anywhere in the U.S. had it been aimed in the right direction. If preparations continue, it could be ready for launch by the end of this week.
By talking peace with South Korea and threatening war with the U.S., Kim Jong-un is playing good cop, bad cop, which the State Department says may be an attempt to drive a wedge between the two allies.
The crisis in North Korea will continue to have our attention in 2018. We finished December with our third strong sanctions resolution of last year. That was a great achievement, but there is more to do to ensure full implementation of the Security Council resolutions. As we hear reports that North Korea might be preparing for another missile test. I hope that does not happen. But if it does, we must bring even more measures to bear on the North Korean regime. The civilized world must remain united and vigilant against the rogue state's development of a nuclear arsenal. We will never accept a nuclear North Korea.
You have been to North Korea. You have been able to assess their reaction. I was going to say to these kinds of things, but this is a whole new level of Trump tweeting about North Korea. So what do you think is the reaction tonight in North Korea?
Well, the North Koreans were always asking me to try to decode President Trump. They don't understand him, and I think this will add to the bafflement. I mean, look, there are plenty of things that can go wrong in 2018, but I think there's pretty broad agreement among international relations specialists that the single thing that could be most disastrous would be a war with North Korea. And in that context, it's incumbent on both North Korea and the U.S. to try to ease tensions, to bring them down. And tweets like this essentially pour gasoline on that blaze. President Trump is goading Kim Jong-un to test a nuclear missile again, to prove its reliability, to show him wrong. And fundamentally, I think it comes across as two kindergarteners who are jostling each other, except that each has nuclear weapons.
Kim Jong-un had issued a statement that included some positive indicators of opening of possible talks with South Korea all around the Olympics and the possible participation of North Korea in the Olympics. So there was a very positive element to what he said. He also said that thing about his nuclear button. And so the President of the United States decided to react to the negative line and to ignore the possible positive opening here.
In the freezing environment of the Winter Olympics, there might be chance for a thaw in relations between South and North Korea. Hopes are being raised following the New Year address by Kim Jong-un. North Korea's leader suggested sending a team to the Winter Games starting in South Korea next month. Government leaders in Seoul were quick to seize the opportunity.
The government proposes to hold high-level talks with North Korea on January 9th at the Peace House in Panmunjom Truce Village to discuss North Korea's participation in the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics.
South Korea's president favors talks with the North as a way of managing Pyongyang's nuclear and missile threats.
The improvement of relations between North and South Korea cannot go separately with resolving North Korea's nuclear program. So the foreign ministry should coordinate closely with allies and the international community regarding this.
The Chinese say they've noted what they call positive signals from both sides of the border.
China welcomes and supports North and South Korea taking earnest efforts to treat this as an opportunity to improve mutual relations, promote the alleviation of the situation on the Korea Peninsula, and realise denuclearization on the peninsula.
While offering to send a team of athletes to the Olympics, Kim Jong-un also said, "The nuclear button is always on the desk of my office." A North Korean nuclear bomb test last year, as well as the firing of more than 20 missiles, continue to defy the world. US President Donald Trump wants to toughen sanctions further as Pyongyang continues to develop nuclear missiles it says will be capable of hitting the continental United States. If negotiators do meet next week ahead of the Winter Olympics, they'll be their first formal talks in 2 years.